Hello Patriots, today in math we are going to talk about place value. So at the top of your 2-column notes, I would like for you to write place value. The first big idea we are going to talk about is that a number can be written in standard form using digits only. So over here on our left side of our 2-column notes, we are going to write standard form. And I would like for you to do the same. Now, when we write numbers in standard form, we are going to use digits 0 to 9, and we are going to place these digits in a house to make numbers. And I'm going to make my house on the right-hand side of our 2-column notes. If I start over here on the right-hand side, my pen wants to work. In my first house, I'm going to have units. And I'm going to have the ones place value, the tens place value, and the hundreds place value. And then I'm going to draw the next part of my house. And this part of the house is going to be the thousands. And on this next column, we have the thousands place value. Then next to the left, it will be the 10,000. And then the last column in the thousands part of the house is 100,000. Next to the thousands place value, I am going to draw lines, and I'm going to make the millions. So the next part of the house is the millions. And my first one will be millions, and then 10 million, and then 100 million. And I will pause so you can get caught up. I am also going to add to this house just one more column, and this one right here is going to be the billions. And we're not really going to focus on that right now, but you need to know that after you get to 999 million and add 1, you would then get 1 billion. Continuing on, if I place digits 0 to 9 into my house, I can write my number in standard form. So I am just going to put some digits in here. I'm going to make a 5 and a 4 and a 6, a 0, 2, 3, 9, 8, 3. And when you write numbers, you're going to start at the very right number, and you're going to count 3, 1, 2, 3, and place a comma. And then another 1, 2, 3, and another comma. And then you have the last 3. If there was a billion, we would have to put a comma here, but we don't have a billion here. So if you wanted to write this number in standard form, this number is 546,023,983. Each comma here separates the houses. So here you see the first set of 3 numbers. My pen doesn't want to work. And then the second set, and then the third set. When you look at a digit in the house, you can tell the value or the worth of a digit in a number. For example, if I look at this number 6, I could tell the value of this 6 is 6 million because it is in the millionth place value. If I asked you what is the value of the 9, then you would tell me that the 9 means there are 900. So that's the value of that digit in that example. if I wanted to take that same number and I wanted, instead of writing in standard form, to write it in an expanded form. So let's do that. I'm going to take over here and write expanded form on my left side of my 2-column notes. Now, if we remember from our vocabulary that we did, the expanded form is a number written as the sum of the value of digits. So, for example, on the right side of your 2-column notes, if I went back to my standard form, the very first 5, the value of that 5 is 500 million because it is in the 100 million house. So I'm going to write 500 million. And then the 4 is in the 10 million place value. So it is 40 million. And I'm going to write that right underneath. And I think I want to do this so you could get a picture of our house. And then the next number is a 6, and that is 6 million. So I'm going to write that, and you have to keep your numbers lined up. That's very important. And then the next place value is the 100,000. Well, there aren't any. So I'm just going to write in 0 so you could see there are 0 100,000s. But normally when you write that, you don't need to do so. The next number digit is a 2, and that is in the 10,000th place. So the value of that number is 20,000. The next digit is a 3, so the value of that is 3,000. The next digit is an 8. No, I'm sorry, is a 9, so the value of that is 900. Then the next digit's an 8, so the value of that 8 is 80. And the last digit is a 3, and that is 3 ones. So here is our ones place value, our tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s, 100,000, million, 10 million, and here we have 100 million. If I add all those up, that should come to our standard form number. So we have 3 here, and 8, and 9, and I'm going to place my comma that separates the houses, and then this would be 3, and 2, and 0, another comma, 6, 4, 5. So as you can see, the expanded form here, when you add up all of the numbers and get the sum, there is the standard form of 546,023,983. I will pause so you can write your notes. Now, if I wanted to take the same number and write it in word form, so over to the left of my 2-column notes, we're going to write the same number in word form. And remember, word form is using words to write the number. So, using the above example, this number up here, to write in word form would be 546, and that's in the millions house, so we're going to write million. 23,000. 983 83. The last part of place value that we're going to talk about today is comparing numbers. And if you look at the left-hand side of our two-column notes, you will see that it says use place value to compare numbers in step 1. It tells us to write the numbers lining up the places, and that's very important that you have your place values all lined up so you can compare them properly. And the next big thing that you need to really remember is that you're going to begin at the left and compare. So in our example here, we have two numbers. We have 6,356. We also have 6,378. So if we look at our place values, I see that let's label ones, tens, hundreds, and this is thousands. The thousands digit is the same in both, so they're both a 6. When you're comparing numbers, if the largest place value is the same, then you go one more place value to the right. And when we look at those, they're in the hundreds place. And both numbers in the hundreds place are the same again. They're both 3s. So once again, you must go one more over in place value, and now we are in the tens place value. And if I look at the tens, our first number has 5 tens, and the second number has 7 tens. So to tell us which number is greater, the bigger number is going to be greater. So you could write that in a couple different ways. Let's go on the right hand side of our two column notes. If I have my first number 6,356 and I have my second number 6,376, we decided that this number right here is greater because of the 7 in the tens place. That's 70, and this is 5 tens or 50. So I can use the symbol like this. Remember, the closed end here means it's pointing to the smaller number. The bigger opening points to the bigger number. So we would read the 6,356 is less than 6,376. We could also write it like this if our numbers were switched around. 6,376, put my 2 dots because that's the bigger opening, is greater than 6,356. Before we conclude our two column notes, I would like for you to come into school tomorrow, and I would like for you to write this number 23,561. And on the right side of your two column notes, we have already written it in what this is standard form. So I would like to see in on the right side of your two column notes that number written in expanded form and also in word form. And then at the bottom, I would like for you to compare that number 23,561 with 23,750 using your symbol greater than, less than, or equal to. So I'm going to write it like this for you. And you should write that and show me a symbol. Have a great night, patrons, and I will see you in the morning.